Hi everybody, Professor Gusimi here. In this week's lecture, we're going to be discussing speech. I wanted to note that this is the last lecture of our semester, and the analysis of speech is differentiated from the analysis of the text strings that you've been working with up until the present, in that speech is an auditory waveform, whereas strings are sequences of characters. And so specifically, we're going to be thinking a little bit about how we take these waveforms and look at their spectral properties so that we understand how we might go about transforming the speech into the text. We'll also be discussing some of the nuances that occur, or rather that you can extract when you're dealing with speech as compared to just raw text. Consider, for instance, if you wanted to do sentiment analysis. Well, although the text and context around it would be very important, the speech would give you access, such as through intonation or pitch, to information that might further augment your ability to do sentiment analysis, for example. I also wanted to make a very quick announcement about our project. As you know, this is the last lecture of the semester, and after this, it will be a project period. Now, I wanted to clarify something that may not be clear to all of you. The project is worth 30% of the grade, and 20% of that grade is going to come from the IPython notebook that you develop that allows me to replicate your project. That IPython notebook should be written in a similar way to what I had done for some of the tutorial assignments. So you should have blocks of text followed by blocks of code, and those should coherently read together to sort of tell the story of your project. In addition to this, there is a written report, 2,000 words, that's worth the remaining 10% of the grade for the project. That's the report that should have the introduction, the methods, the results, and the discussion section that we outlined in the project requirements at the start of the semester. One additional clarification that I'd like to make, to help reduce some of the workload for this course, which I know was a lot for some of you, we halved the number of homeworks. And so the consequence of that is there's about 30 or so points that are unallocated that were originally meant to be allocated to the homework assignments. I made an announcement earlier that I just want to remind you all about. The way that we're going to go about allocating that 30% that's currently floating is I'm going to go look at the average of your homework grade, and then I'm going to look at your project grade. And whichever the two of those is higher, I'm going to assign that points using that number. So if, for example, you did better on the project than you did on average on the homeworks, I'll take whatever the project grade was and take that percentage that's floating and assume that you got that same grade there. And the other way as well, for if you did better on the homework than on the project. So that's it. Although this is the last lecture, you should always feel comfortable reaching out to me if you have questions, either about the project or the homework.